And the last couple of games, the Hawks have made every moment count as well. The most recent, of course, last night, they got the series win for the season against the Wizards, 134 to 116 in last night's game, which was really, like you said, yes, Kristaps Porzingis out, Kyle Kuzma out, Bradley Beal out. However, that X Factor guy, be it it was could have been Kendrick Nunn, for example. He
Yeah,
was
no
still
doubt.
going to
Yeah.
play, so that
Hmm.
was going to happen. And they were both dealing with the same thing, except that there was a back to back that the Wizards played at home, so they were able to leave the district Tuesday night to get here. Hawks weren't so lucky. Mechanical
Yeah.
issues with their flight Tuesday night made them have to literally leave Chicago Saturday, Wednesday morning, get back here at 2:30 in the afternoon, and then get prepared. So they were a little bit sluggish in the beginning, but that was shut down immediately because every player truly came to play. And granted, you can go to Trae Young having a bounce back game after being out ill with his 25 points and his 16 rebounds. DeJounte Murray really set the table. So I don't know if his stat line even tells the story of how he set the
Right.
table early in that game, especially knowing that Bogdan Bogdanovic was going to be out because of load management. And,
Yeah.
of course, we're still a day to day with DeAndre Hunter. He was out as well. So, Jarvis, I just felt like everyone last night came to play. And I have a question for you. But before I ask that question, I just want to, give you the opportunity as well to kind of talk through just a synopsis of the game, because I feel like much of what we talked about we saw. Like we
Yeah.
saw a complete game. We saw effort at both ends of the court. You could literally look at the whole 9-man rotation and see stat lines from everybody, including Aaron Holiday, who came in and picked up that team in the first quarter when
Yes.
they were a little bit shaky. That second unit, I cannot speak enough about what they were able to do yet again last night, and give credit where credit is due. When he deserves to get
I already know.
beat down, we
John
give it to
Collins.
him.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when we're supposed to uplift him, like a game he had like last night, perfect from the free throw line. I think he was like 3 or 4 from three and
Yeah.
8 of 13 from the field. Got to give him a whole lot of credit for also setting the tone last night.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you like to see, right? Because we know that he's been a little shaky coming down the stretch, and we've seen guys that look like him, same height as him, and potentially play the same position as him out here balling. And then and I'm talking about specifically Jalen Johnson. He balled out last night coming off the bench. So when you think about him seeing those things, he understands he's a professional, and that's what I appreciate about JC. He gets he knows what time it is. Like, he's not a dumb guy. You know what I mean? I think JC fully understands what the situation is as we come down the stretch and going into the offseason. What that scenario could play out like, because like you said, he's been on the trade blocks. He understands it. So for him to come out and play like he did last night, you got to give kudos to him. He showed that athletic ability, and all the double pump dunks. I don't know if that was kind of ode to Dominique, Nick sitting up there at the broadcast table, but it seemed like it did. I'll go ahead and assume that it was the way he was playing, because it seemed like it was an emphasis on that. But yeah, kudos to JC. And also, I got to continue to give my guy a shout out, JJ. The way he was, like, I'm starting to really like this guy's game, and the confidence he's having right now with taking those outside shots or behind the 3-point line. All of those things kind of coincide with him understanding his assignment and understanding what's supposed to go down when he goes out on the court. And I think that the more Quinn Snyder works with these guys, the more Quinn Snyder understands what these guys ain't. I got too, AJ Griffin. When he's playing like that, hitting those outside shots. Trey had took a shot, 3-pointer, and missed it. He ended up getting the rebound, and he was like, yep, I'm going right back up with it, right from behind the arc, and he just drained that bad boy. And I'm just like, man, the confidence you can see these guys playing it with is just super, uber exciting, because, like you said, the play-in tournament, that's cool, clinching the spot, but when you think about what the future holds for all these young pups, you starting to see the potential of these guys, that's when I start getting excited too.
Yeah, and also when you think about the fact that a 3-game winning streak breaks a 33-game streak of win-loss, win-loss, win-loss that
Yeah.
dates back to January 20th, one of the subtle reasons is because of AJ Griffin and Jalen Johnson doing something that, for me, covering Jalen when he was over with the Skyhawks, I always saw. Like I saw his
Yeah.
growth from point A to point B and was just waiting, like, okay, when are we going to see it
What's
with
the
the
deal?
Hawks?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because it was clear over there that he was picking up everything that Coach Steve Gansey was giving him, right?
Right.
And working through it and just like, okay, coach told me to do it this way. I'm coming back next game and I'm doing it this way. We're now getting to see it. AJ Griffin, the same. There were a couple of times last night because I was able to be there in person. It
Right.
was even more impactful than when I saw it on TV, where I saw them make good decisions. Good decisions that
Yeah.
maybe 3 or 4 months ago in Jalen's first half of his rookie season, AJ rather wasn't making, or Jalen Johnson, even when that confidence was waning,
Yeah.
wasn't making those good decisions. And
You can
that
see
goes
it.
back to, my favorite term, basketball IQ. And Quinn Snyder had a little something to say about his thoughts on how you approach the game mentally. And what I love about that is he talked about that very thing. Like for him, it wasn't just the physicality, if you will, it was also making wise decisions. There was one time, for example, where Jalen Johnson was under the basket. Jalen Johnson 4 months ago, that would have been a foul. He would have fouled
Right.
that player, but it was a subtle move that he made and it allowed him to defend properly. And that allowed the Hawks to get the ball back because
Yeah.
he was watching. Also, AJ Griffin, there were opportunities last night where okay, you might have thought to double somebody, but he stayed with his man and also playing. And that allowed the Hawks to really play some solid man defense where everybody just understands your own assignment. Jarvis, how important is it in this run, not just how players are actually playing free, playing positive and confident, but using their basketball IQ in critical situations that we both know they're going to need these guys to step up and use the noggin come postseason?
I think the main thing that, and a lot of times it gets, stated in football, and I think it applies in basketball as well. Like, you take on the identity of your coach, right? And what
Mhm.
were some of the first things that we always heard when Quinn Snyder was brought in? He's a
Mhm.
smart guy. He's
Yes.
a highly educated guy. He's a guy that knows a lot about basketball. He's a teacher of the
Yes.
game, and
Yes.
all of those things kind of fall under up under the umbrella of basketball IQ. And so we know that's going to be the expectation if you're going to play for Snyder's. And I think that's an amazing thing to see, right? When you have a first round pick who we know he has talent, but
Mhm.
why was he in the G League the first year? Or why is John Collins not really truly understanding what his role is or what he's supposed to do while he's out there on the court? Obviously, you got to make good basketball decisions, but if you don't know what your role is, it's going to be hard to make those the right decision each and every time, and night in and night out in an 82 game season. So I think that this team needs to take on the identity of his head coach. And I think that you're starting to see some of that, just like that play you just brought up. So when you think about that basketball IQ piece, like, that's going to be the standard in order for you to continue to play and be around this team for if you want to be around on this roster.
Indeed, indeed. And yeah, that's absolutely what I would say as well. Quinn Snyder and his approach and understanding how to approach your veterans differently than your younger players, I think that's going to pay dividends. If we don't see it quickly, we'll see it in the future, maybe next season, right? But I'm
Right.
liking what I'm seeing as the development of these younger players, as well as the understanding of still the evolution of some of his veterans. Now, Locked On Sports Today, they might be watching too to see what happens with the Hawks. Are they going to somehow sneak their way into that seventh spot? It is still very compelling in the NBA to see who gets where. So don't forget to check out on Locked On Sports Today, or they may be talking about the Braves and the fact that they're coming out of the gates five
Yes.
and one, 2.5 games up against the lowly Mets. Anyway, if you want to check
Hmm.
out all things Major League Baseball now that we are a week into the season, you want to see what's compelling as we get to the end of the NBA regular season, and Jarvis, 3 weeks away from the NFL draft. Check out
Oh,
Locked On Sports
yes.
today.
Yes, sir.
Where can you get them? YouTube, that's where you get us. And of course, wherever you listen to your podcasts.